So people who come to see us at our center in Bang Kla, we share Christ with them. But some people don't live in Bang Kla, so we go to them. That's where you're going to come in on mobile clinics. We go to mobile clinics. Just the month before I came here, went out to a place called Ubon Ratchathani, a place where no believer had ever been. The gospel had never been there before. That's what I'm thinking God's going to spark in some of you. If you want to be a part of that, where you can take the gospel, and you can take it, you speak English, you don't speak Thai, but you want to have a part, you can take the gospel to a place where people have never heard God's name. You don't have to talk about Jesus dying on the cross. They've never even heard the name God before. When we talk about God, we have to describe who He is, the Creator God of all things. Because no one has ever told them that God made the world yet. If you want to have a part in that, you come get on this team. Come out in June. And take the gospel of how people can be saved from sin. People who have never heard about God before. Just last month, I was in this place, and just before we got there, we were setting up, my front team was in there setting up, and the school principal came by, and he told all the crowd that was waiting to see me, he told the crowd, the foreigners are going to come in, take their medicine, but don't listen to what they say. Do not listen to what they say. And he left to do his little principal kind of things. I came in, did a mobile clinic. Somebody came to me toward the end of the day and said, "Can you come see my mom? She's bedbound, can't get out, can't come to see you. Could you come see my mom?" I said, "I'd be delighted." So I go drive off in a Casas purchase van, by the way. And I went off to see them in their little stilted house in the middle of this village in the middle of Ubon Ratchathani. Gospel had never been there. I sat beside her on her bed and talked to her about her physical needs for a while, and then sat there and talked to her about the God who made the world. In a place where God had never been talked about before. It'll thrill your soul. Talked to her, pretty soon 2 neighbors came in, so I started over. A little bit later, a couple came in, so I started over. Pretty soon I had 20 adults, men and women, including the principal, who said, "Don't listen to the foreigners." The principal came in, all sitting around in this little bitty front room in this little thatched, stilted house, sharing how God saves people from sin. You want to be a part about taking the gospel to people who have never heard it before, you come out with us. But some people aren't sick, so they don't come to see me. So I had a cell group in our house for Buddhists who were interested in spiritual things. Said, "You come to our house, we'll talk about spiritual things." So they came, and for a while we talked about who God is and what Jesus did on the cross for us, and we talked about why bad things happen in the world, and talked about spiritual matters. Talked about this for years and years and years, and nobody came to faith. Until finally, years later, I'd like to tell you our own story, but finally Nit came to Christ through our Buddhist cell group in our house. And I just was visiting her before I came here, and her teenage son has just went off to college, going to Bible college, going to Christian college. Her teenage daughter has given her life to Christ. Generations changed. But some people won't go to a Christian's house. In fact, a lot of people won't go to a Christian's house. So I set up a cell group. Well, it was kind of more a seminar. I put up signs and all in our town. I said, "Come to the seminar about God." I said, "This is the seminar for Buddhists who want to know who God is." So you come, I've got a 6-week seminar for Buddhists who want to know who God is. And so I was teaching them just the basics about who God is and Jesus' plan for them and what Jesus did for them on the cross. And I was sharing with them, and when I finished, I said, "Now, who of you would like to ask Jesus to come in and save you from your sins?" And I had this one lady raise her hand right in front of all her Buddhist neighbors right there, and her neighbor grabbed her hand and threw it down. That's the kind of atmosphere we live in. And she said, "Never mind, I can't do this." That was probably going to squelch most people's enthusiasm, but I asked again, who else? Would anybody respond to Christ? A 17-year-old girl named Goon raised her hand in front of everybody else. Right there in front of all her Buddhist neighbors, came forward and right in front of everybody. I figured if they're not brave enough to do it right there, they're going to not be brave enough to follow Christ later. But right in front of everybody, she gave her life to the Lord. Married a great Christian guy, now works for me in my lab as one of my lab techs. All things, all men, so that by all possible means, some would be saved. So when they come to see me at the clinic, share Christ, but some people don't live by me. So we go out on mobile clinics, but some people aren't sick. So we have seminars in our house about who God is, but some people don't go to the Christian house. So we have it in our PT building. Some people don't go there, so we go knock on doors. Recently we went to a place, 2,000 doors. We knocked on 2,000 doors to share Christ with people in this village that had no Christians, no church at all. Knocked on 2,000 doors. That many people were interested. No one. That's pretty common. That's almost the usual response. That's where mobile clinics come in. Because the usual response is when we share Christ with people, no one will listen to spiritual things. No one will listen to a Christian. It's not cool to be a Christian. Kon Thai Ben Put, they say. To be Thai is to be Buddhist. So if you're Thai, you got to be Buddhist. So to listen to a Christian is not very cool. Except on Mobile Clinic Day. And on Mobile Clinic Day, it's cool to listen to Christians. However, in God's timing and in God's economy of things, however God's worked out, on one day, Mobile Clinic Day, people will listen to Christians. That's what you would do. If you came out with me, brought out a doc or two, a nurse or two or three or four or five, and a couple of people to work in the pharmacy, you don't have to have any medical training at all. All you have to do is be able to read by English, which will take some training.